Good morning everyone. Welcome back to grade 3 mathematics class. How are you all doing today? So we have already learned how to break down a word problem to extract the data and find the required solution mentioned in the question. In this class, we'll see how to approach a word problem related to subtraction. So when you get a word problem, what you should do? You should first read the question thoroughly. And you should understand what all are the keywords given in the question. You have to identify the keywords which will give us a clue to which operation we have to perform to find the required solution. Once you identify the keywords, what do you do next? You have to extract the given data from the question, and from the data you write steps, then you do the calculation. So let's first see one example. Before that, here are some keywords related to subtraction. So if you see keywords like difference, leftover with, how many more, how many left, remain, take away, fewer than, less than, or decrease by. All these words mean you have to do subtraction. Then you can identify that's a subtraction word problem. Now, here is an example. Please go to the question. Rahul has 175 marbles. He wants to increase his marble collection to 380. How many more marbles does Rahul need to collect? So what is given in the question? First, we have read the question thoroughly. Then we have to identify the keywords. See, in the question it's mentioned how many more. And we know when you see how many more, it's something related to subtraction, right? So we have identified some keywords here, and then we have to extract the data given in the question. So what all data are given in the question? Here it is said Rahul has 175 marbles with him already, and he wants to increase the number of marbles that he has. So how he wants to make it to 380 marbles. So let's write the steps for this word problem from the data given in the question. So let's see how we can write the steps. So from the question we can write the number of marbles Rahul has, which is 175 marbles, and number of marbles Rahul wants to have, it is 380. Now we have to find out how many more number of marbles he needs to collect so that his 175 marbles, the number of marbles that he already has, it can be made up to 380 marbles. So what you have to do? You have to subtract that number of marbles he wants and the number of marbles that he already has. So let's equate, or let's substitute the numbers from the data in the question. So it is the number of marbles he wants is 380. And the number of marbles he already has is 175. Now, let's find the difference, and that will tell us how many marbles he needs to collect more. So, let's do the subtraction in the working column, which is the broader margin that you have in your notebook, to the right of your notebook. So, let's do the calculation in the working column. So, 380 minus 175. Where do we start the subtraction? We first subtract the ones, then we subtract the tens, then we subtract the hundreds. So let's do the subtraction of ones first. So in the ones place we have 0 minus 5. Can we take away 5 ones from 0 ones? No, right? So what do? We borrow 1 10 from the tens place and give it to the ones place. So let's borrow 1 10 and give it to the ones place. So 1 10, when it comes to the ones place, it becomes 10 ones. So in the ones place we have 10 ones now. So 10 ones minus 5 ones, what is it? It is 5 ones. Now since we gave 1 10 from the tens place to the ones place, this 8 tens is reduced to 8 tens minus 1 10. How much is it? 7 tens. Now we have 7 tens minus 7 tens. So what is it? 7 minus 7, it is 0. Now let's move to the hundreds place. In the hundreds place we have 3 hundreds minus 100. 3 minus 1, it is 2. So here we have the difference. So the number of marbles that he needs to collect more to make it to 380 marbles, what is it? It is 205. 205 more marbles. So I hope this is clear to you. Now, let's see one more example. Vicky traveled a total distance of 550 kilometer. He traveled 240 kilometer by bus and the remaining distance by car. How much distance did he travel by car? So what is mentioned in the question? Vicky had traveled some distance. He traveled a total distance of 550 kilometer. See? He traveled a total distance of 550 kilometer and he traveled 240 kilometer by bus. Let this distance be 240 kilometer. And the rest of the distance he traveled by car. You are asked to find out what is this distance, which is the distance he traveled by car. We have the total distance till here and we know the distance till here. You have to find out this distance. How would we find out? We have to subtract this distance from this total distance. Then we'll get this distance, the distance he traveled by car, right? So let's write down the steps from the data given in the question. So the first step would be the total distance. What is the total distance? It is equal to 550 kilometers. Now the distance traveled by bus. The distance traveled by bus is 240 kilometers that we have written there. Now we have to find out the distance traveled by car. So that would be equal to the total distance minus the distance traveled by bus. So substituting the numbers from the data, we get 550 minus 240. So now what do? Let's subtract these two numbers. I have to do the calculation in the working column. So 550 minus 240. So 0 ones minus 0 ones, it is 0. 5 minus 4, 1. 5 minus 2, that is 3. So what is the difference? The difference is 310 kilometers. This is the distance he traveled by car. I hope this is clear to you. You have to go to this topic word problem, which is in page number 44 of your textbook. Once you do that, you have to move on to exercise 3.5 in the same page. The first question we have already discussed in the class. You have to do the question numbers 2, 3, 4 and 5, and below that you can see this box. There is one more question given there. Please go to that question also and do accordingly. So that's all for today. We will meet in the next class with a new topic. Until then, bye.